Hello animator, I am Zen and I am here to make your life a little bit easier in this crazy industry. And today I want to show you how to switch from FK to IK or IK to FK, and let's jump straight to the action. Number 1, find the controller that has IK-FK switch. In this rig, it's this triangular shape. Then, step number 2, find the attribute that says IK-FK, key. Step number 3, go to the next frame, key there. Step number 4, go to this attribute and scroll it to 1. And done! I'm joking. But in all honesty, this is how you switch between IK and FK. It's just 0 and 1. What people don't understand is that you need to know not how to switch, but when to switch. And this is something I want to talk about. A lot of times animators try to switch it on the very short spacing between the frames and try to match it exactly. That method can work, but I wouldn't call it the most efficient way. I wouldn't call it the most smart way to do. There could be situations, very rare, when you actually need it to be this close to switch, but most of the time animation has a rhythm and you have frames that are spaced out quite far from each other, and that's the time where you want to switch. I'm going to show you 2 examples today. One is we're going to do jumping jacks in our animation, and then from arms being in the air, we're going to switch them to the waist. And when the hands are on the waist, this should be IK arms. And by the way, if you don't know where you should use IK or FK arms, I have the whole video. I have a chart. Please, I'll link everything down below and you can go to those videos to know where you should use IK or FK for your animation. And another example I'm going to show you today is the acting, where our hands will be on the table, on the face, and then we're going to go up with those arms, and maybe your character can run. After that, you can switch to the walk cycle. Let's go to our examples and I'll show you on practice how to switch smartly between IK and FK on what frames to cause the least damage if you need to move the keys later on. Let's take a look at the animation I have done here. It's a simple jumping jack, hands on the air, and then hands go to the waist. So as I said before, hands on the waist have to be IK to follow the body later on. When you do shots like this, do pre-plan. Do think where you're gonna switch, right? Obviously the hands, as they are in the air, they are FK. The moment they land, they should be IK. Now let's take a look over here and see how they switch. As you can see, there is something funny happening here. We do have IK, but we still kind of also have an FK right here. See this controllers? That's because our IK-FK switch is not 0 to 1. It has 0 point whatever decimals. Do not have decimals in your IK and FK. Very bad idea. I can't stress this enough, because when you have decimals, you can't control either IK or FK. It's kind of in between, even though it looks smooth here and maybe you'll be like, oh, it looks good, why would I be bothered? Don't do that, okay? So we need to think here at which point we want the arm to stop being FK and turn into IK arm. Let's first just put approximately like here. I'll put 1. This is 1 is for FK and 0 is for IK. Well, it kind of like weirdly snaps. We don't like that. We don't want that, right? What we want to do here is to find what frames will have the biggest spacing between them. For example, you see how here arm is already kind of slowing down, probably, right? Because she's already did like up, and then she goes and like puts them on the waist. So we need to find the fastest frame where she switches between FK and IK arms. Let's say she has her hands down. Somewhere here, she will kind of lift them up in the FK as well. So we can kind of start lifting them up as well with our FK. I'd say we need even faster, because this frame already looks a bit too much. Let's say we put over here, so somewhere here, And yes, from the frame 34 to 36, we kind of have this biggest, like, kind of like she lands, and then as she goes up, she pushes the hands to the waist. This could be way faster, so we're just adjusting the animation that I already had pre-done for the class. Yeah, see how this one animation in this case, right? You kind of match them still. It's not like you don't match at all, but because you're doing it on the fast frame where the arms are actually swinging the fastest, you can achieve pretty decent result without trying to have some aligning tool or any other weird way people try to match it by like a bunch of locators or anything. So you can just, by adjusting the animation itself on the frame where arms go fast, can have a pretty seamless match. And especially it works really well in any action shot you have. So as I speak, I will do another arm quickly. I'll probably adjust it to exactly the same frames because they seem to work for me. And there we go, gonna click this. So this is my IK already ready for me. That looks just fine. You can't tell it's changed to IK or FK if you especially look in this. Let's go to zoom in a bit here. And look at this. This just changes fast. So instead of trying to change your IK arms when it's super duper close to the body, right? Like a lot of people will try to change it here because this is where IK should be. You want to change it earlier. You want to change it where it will be the easiest to change. Of course, some polishing is required, but I think you got the gist. And now you might say, okay, this works great for action shots, but what about acting shots? In the acting shots, we also sometimes need to switch between FK and IK, and acting is usually have lesser spacing. No, acting also has frames with a big spacing, because if everything is super floaty and slow, that means your animation will just not look good. Even in acting, you will have fast frames. And that's the one you need to look for when you plan your shot. Let's go to my next example, and I'll explain you my thought process behind it. And let's take a look at another example I have here. We got Mickey sitting here being sad that the pizza is run out, so I guess he's waiting for the rest of the gang to bring the pizza. I have done a reference where I'm acting here to make my life easier. I'd suggest you, when you do acting shots especially, please act yourself or find a good reference. It will save you the trouble. So by doing the acting, I already pre-planned that. I knew that I'll need the IK hands in the beginning of the shot, and then I will need to have them FK, especially if my character will later get up and run or maybe jump even in the air with the arms up or something like that. So usually when your arms are free, you want to use FK because it's way easier than trying to animate this in IK. Let's take a look at the transition. Transition is happening here as I'm raising my hands. When we raise our hands, we don't do it like super slow. We still have that moment of where we kind of shoot them up in the air, right? And if your character will be doing maybe some other shot by having his arms on the table and then lifting them up or getting up, this will be the frames you'll be looking for to where to switch. So even looking at my reference, let's take a look, zooming over here, I can clearly tell that these frames still should be IK because they're kind of very slow. You can see the arm already lifting, but the arm is still kind of close. It's not enough space for me to change. And then as I go to the next frame, ooh, what is happening here? This is a very big spacing. And maybe for the hand it doesn't feel like so, but your elbows are so far away. This is where the magic is happening. You see how just for one frame here, the arms go way faster. So here is the perfect spot to change. You can also try to change here if you want. This also could be a nice frame to change because this is also quite fast. But this one kind of has like a nice hang to it. So I'd feel like this would be the place I'd change. And as you can see, this is exactly what I did for Miki over here. So I have the IK arms just on the table, having this anticipation moment. And here, still IK until it comes here. This is where he is doing the biggest action. And this is where I just change it to FK and continue animating FK from now on. This is a way to think where you want to change characters' hands. I have made it clear that changing your arms on the big spacing frames is the best solution, because if you will try to change it over here, you will have such a disastrous experience trying to get your FK arm to match. Like, you will be doing like, okay, what if like I do very, very close, you know, like to the ground, maybe it will, oh yeah, but I'll need to adjust this still, and this will be like a disaster to match, because this will be very close and you will always have some jitter, and this is kind of more of a is in is out key. So trying to match here, you will eventually face a lot of problems, because right now this animation is not finalized, but what if you decide to, you know, have a little bit more of movement here? Maybe this is not the best place. Maybe you decide to move your IK arm a bit more, and then it just creates a lot of this unnecessary jitterish thing, like, but because the wrist is very hard to match the elbow. Like in this case, elbow is not so bad, actually by some miracle looks pretty decent here. But do not try to change your IK arms at the spot where the spacing is so small. It will cause you a lot of problems, especially if you try to move the timing later, or if you decide to have a bit more of an ease in, ease out. If the frames are far away from each other, that's where you can get away with a lot of mistakes. And this method will really help you to not get into a trouble animating between IK and FK in your shots. That's it for today. I hope you learned something new. Please ask me questions if you want to learn more about certain aspects of animation I have done, maybe about how to shoot the reference or how to keep the elbows stuck to the table when you're animating IK arms. I'm a full-time working animator, so I only get to do these videos once a month because I'm still human and I need time to sleep. So in order not to lose me, please like, subscribe, leave a comment. It will really help me to know that this is worth doing and this helps somebody. It really means the world to me. And as usual, stay healthy, animator.